Hey guys, welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer board game review. Today's game up at the tabletop is called Hafid's Grand Bazaar. Hafid's Grand Bazaar is for 2 to 6 players, plays about 30 to 90 minutes, and it's for ages 12 and up. In Hafid's Grand Bazaar, you're playing as a trader, and you're attempting to collect goods over a period of rounds. When you're going to collect these goods, you're going to be using bidding chits like these little guys here, and you're going to place them on a board here. Now, in the board, you're able to place your chits on either locations like Arabia or Egypt or Babylon or the Orient, and they're going to have cards there which are going to represent goods. You also have goods in your hand. And as you progress throughout the round and you empty your you empty your amount or pool of bidding tokens, you're then going to end up trying to sell to different people. And there's 3 types of people you can sell to: hagglers, collectors, and the guild master. And at the end of the round, if you've sold the best you can through either symbology or the different types, or as well as I think like pairs and runs and that kind of stuff, then you're going to go into the next round and you will keep playing. In a 2-player game, you're going to play 4 rounds, and in any other game, 3, 4, 5, or 6, you're going to play equal to the number of players. That way, every player gets to play first once. We get to play the first player token once. And in a 2-player game, you get to play first twice. You're also in the game going to get the board. You're going to get Hafid, which represents the first player, a big stack of cards that represent goods. Everybody's going to get the bidding tokens like I talked about, as well as points, as well as a box and a handy dandy little rule book. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you how it plays. So here we have Hafid's Grand Bazaar set up for 3 players. Everybody's going to get 10 cards, and they're all going to be randomized based on this deck, based on there's brown, red, green, and blue. Each player is then going to get their bidding chits. Right now we have yellow, blue, and white playing the game. And in every single one of these locations, Egypt, Arabia, Babylon, the Orient, Greece, and Rome, is going to have 2 that you're going to place from this deck here. And they're all face down, so you don't know what's underneath them. The first player is going to get Hafid, and it's going to sit right next to him just like that. And then you're going to begin the game. And the way you begin is you're going to select any of these locations here that you want and place bids on them. And you always start with 1, but in order to place a bid on the same one that somebody else has, you have to at least bid 1 more, and bidding will continue like that. You can never place the same exact amount unless you're doing these ones over here. You can place a single one, and everybody else can as well. So the locations, like I said before, are 1 through 6, which represents these different areas when you're trying to take these specific cards. So if I were to bid here first, on this first section, I would be taking Egypt. So if no one else bid here at the end of the round, I would get these cards and put them into my hand. The same would go for 3, 4, 5, and 6. Also, these guys here are the scoring areas. If I wanted to, for every matching pair or more of the same good at the end of the round, if this was what I was going for, a bunch of pairs, I would get double the points. I could put that guy there, and that's how I would be scoring. Now, of course, I could, if I wanted to, have one on each of these locations to score for any of these 3, but that would also remove the amount of cards I'd be able to get at the end of the round. Also, over here we have Free Trader, Informant, and Negotiator. Negotiator lets you trade with other players. Free Trader lets you draw from the deck over here, which is the top cards, and you can only see the first one. And if you go ahead and bid here, so for instance somebody bid right here, the next player would choose to bid, he would bid right there. And then whenever anybody bid on a caravan space, maybe she would bid on a caravan space just like that in the Orient, this player or this player could choose to draw from the deck. If this player wanted to, then this player could draw. However, the yellow can say, no, in fact, I'm going to draw instead. Once you do that, you lose the piece, though, and you can't use it until the next round, and this player would move up, and so would everybody else in the line. That being said, though, a simple bid is just being placed on the board just like that. The next player would go ahead, and you can keep going doing that and picking out the cards you want, because you're looking for different sets and different colors, different symbology, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe this person's going to go for pairs. This person wants to go for every set of 1 good from each category. You get plus 5 points, plus all the points you would get from that specific category. This person wants 2, and then we'll go for 3 here, and we'll just keep going. This guy will go for the Free Trader, so will he. Next person says, okay, actually I want first, so he can go ahead and place 2 tokens there, and now he's going to be getting Egypt instead of yellow. And in that case, you could have either white or yellow go ahead and choose to draw 2 cards. So yellow would say, I want it, and white would say, no, you can't have it, I'm going to take it. And he would get the 2 cards, and he would remove his thing off of here. Yellow would then move up, and the next time somebody tried to get this, he would be able to do that as well. Yellow would also maybe go for a full set of all unique items or goods, and then we would continue just like that, the process. Maybe he would go for a Free Trader, Informant, let's go for another full set, Negotiator, and sometimes you can have extra ones left over, so place it here. So after that, after everybody's gone ahead and bid, there's no more tokens left to be bidded with, everybody's then going to clear the board. And how you clear the board is pretty simple. If no one did any of these things, these would just go back to the players. And then we'd look at all these different things. So yellow and yellow would take this. So yellow would get all of this stuff right here. Good job, yellow. And these would get removed. Blue and blue would get 4 and 5. Just like this. And then white would go ahead and get 6. And blue would go ahead and take first. Then we're left with all of these. These things, which is, this one is highest bidder, looks at the cards in the foreign market, or all cards of one type in all foreign markets. Then a card, then takes a card from the draw or discard pile. So there could be a discard pile here in which you would take it. So he would have gone ahead and done that. He would have also, when he played this here, been able to look at all the cards face down, so that it would help him inform his bidding. So this is a good card. This is a good place to play first. Over here is you can trade afterwards with other players. Now, other players can trade with you, but they can't trade with each other unless they actually put the space down. So if he wanted to, he would look at his hand, and he would go through trading. And as you can see, there's different colors, and they have different symbology. And the symbols are represented here on the card, on the left-hand side of the card. You got sheep and goats and camels and horses and so on and so forth. And you're trying to set them up so that you can start scoring. So each player would do this. They would go ahead and set up some kind of scoring rotation here. And white has a good opportunity to score because, as you see, he can do matching pairs, and he can do for every single set. For every set of one good from each category. So, okay, well, what do we got here? Do we have any pairs? We can look for pairs here. Here's a pair of cards right there. And this is another pair. And here's another pair there. And another pair here. And then you would add up all the points on the bottom, and these are going to give you the points, plus for every single pair you're going to multiply that for every matching pair or more of the same good. Oh, so you can even do extras too. Let's see if we can do that. I'm sure we can. Here's another one of these guys. Yeah. And another one of these guys. And you would add them all up, and you'd multiply that by 2. And you would score these credits here based on the points you got here in the set. And everybody else would do so as well. For every set of one good from each category, you would get a bonus of +5, plus you would get the bonuses of whatever that specific category is. And then this one is for every full set of unique goods in a category, which is very difficult to get, but you get 30 points for that. And the unique ones are like this. So let's see if we looked at purple here. Okay, so we got a magic carpet, we got a tent, we got a shirt. Oh, I think we got a full one here. We do. We have one of each specific category. That's awesome. And yellow did pull that off, so yellow would get 30 credits for that. So knowing what you have in your hand and how you're going to try and score based on these ones that you're choosing is going to help you along the way. And yellow would also be able to do the for every set of one good from each category. And if he could do that, he would score even more points. Nevertheless, after that, everyone would score all the points they could, and then they would draw 5 cards from the deck. Or they discard down to 10 cards, and they draw 5 cards from the deck. And then after that, you would go ahead and set up the board again. All these pieces would get removed. And you would start the game again until everybody has gotten to go first once, or in a 2-player game, got to go first twice. And that is a basic way of how you play Hafid's Grand Bazaar by Rather Dashing Games. In the game, it's really interesting how you have to choose which ones you want to go for. And you know what color the cards are, but you don't know what's on the back, how many points they are, and what the unique symbols are. And so you're trying to go for those while trying to also decide which of the merchants you want to sell to, the guild master or the collector or even the haggler, and there's 3 different types. There's also, as a caveat, another way you can gain points if you don't choose from these 3, but it's a less scoring thing, and you can look it up in the book. But generally you're going to be scoring points from these different guys. And also the other little actions of the other side of the board, which is really cool, is the trader and the negotiator, letting you trade with other players, and the informant are going to be taking place more in a larger player game. But that is the basic idea. You're just going to go throughout the game trying to collect sets, match sets, pairs, runs, all these different things, and score as many points as possible, and whoever has the most wins. A cool little game. Let me tell you what I think about it. So Hafid's Grand Bazaar kind of reminds me of Aladdin in a way. Remember the beginning of that movie where you see that little peddler and he's trying to sell his wares? Well, that's kind of what this game feels like. It's for your little merchant. You're going around trying to get stuff from all these different locations, bringing them together, and then selling them to other people, whether it be collectors or hagglers or any of these other type of people, right? And the idea is it goes around in rounds, and you're trying to score sets. The game itself is really well done, looks really nice. The board is really nice. The little, I mean, it's something that's just really excessive, like the first player token. You have Hafid, and you have to look at it just like that, and you can see Hafid, he's just standing there trying to sell you something. Look at me, look at what I've got. You want my wares? These things are called like like credits, or not credits, it's something bizarre, but the idea is they're just points that you're going to earn throughout the game, and as you get more of them, you're going to feel really, really happy. The hardest thing about this game is collecting the the goods in every category, if you can. Like specifically this one right here, where you got every single good, and I didn't even try to do that, it just happened. In general, though, it's difficult even when you are pulling from the board and know what you want, because it's just hard. Some of these are more difficult than others. Like the ones that cost more are worth more, like the 3-point one here. There's less of them in the deck, making it more difficult for you to pull those specific cards. And all the different colors as well. You're going to be able to do that free trader action where you're pulling from the top of the deck, and you know the first one, but the second one might not help you at all. So drawing 2 cards is useful from the top of the deck, but if you can get them from the locations instead, that's a lot better. The game plays better with more players because it activates more of those open spaces that we normally wouldn't use as much in a 2-player game, like the negotiating and the informant, because you want to know what's on the board and what other people are getting. In general, this game it's almost playing a solitaire style feel until you get with more players, because you're just trying to collect stats and stuff like that. It's really hard to try and mess with your opponents because you don't really know what they have or what they're going for necessarily. You know what color cards they have in their hand, but you don't know the categories or even the style of play they're trying to go, because usually when you're doing these collectors and the different hagglers and the different guild masters, you're not exactly sure until the very end is when they're playing that, because they try and collect all the cards around the board first before they do anything else. Nevertheless, a very fun little game though. I did enjoy it. I think it's going to be one of those games where if you really enjoy set collecting style games, as well as games that have a little bit of player interaction, but you're mainly focusing on it and almost like a friendly style of play while trying to compete all at the same time. Hafid's Grand Bazaar by Rather Dashing Games.